The State of Tech, the European edition. I'm Samantha Lawrence.
And I'm Bob Russell. Today, Amazon pours billions into European AI data centers. AI slashes battery development timelines by up to 95%. Europe's digital identity wallet edges closer to reality, a breakthrough in quantum-proof encryption. Google's Gemma 4 shakes up the open-source AI race, and generative AI reshapes how cars are designed and built. Let's start with the big money.
So Amazon is going big in Spain. Really big. We're talking 33.7 billion euros earmarked for data center expansion. That is a staggering number, Bob.
It really is. And it's part of a wider global push. They've also committed $25 billion in Mississippi alone. But the Spain figure, that's one of the largest single tech infrastructure investments Europe has ever seen. The driver here is AI workloads. The demand for compute power to train and run AI models is so intense right now that capital expenditure on data centers globally is approaching what we spend on solar energy. Think about that for a second.
And Amazon is clearly betting that Europe is where a big chunk of that demand will land.
They are. And they're framing it around sustainability, too, which is smart given European regulatory expectations. These aren't just any data centers. They're designed for hyperscale AI workloads with efficiency and environmental impact in mind.
This feeds directly into what the EU has been asking for, right? More digital infrastructure investment, more local capacity.
It does. Brussels has been vocal about wanting Europe to build its own AI muscle, rather than relying entirely on infrastructure housed in the US or Asia. Amazon parking this kind of money in Spain supports that goal. It means AI workloads from European companies can stay on European soil, which matters for data sovereignty and latency. And of course, the local economic impact. Construction jobs, engineering roles, long-term operational staff.
There's a tension here, though. Europe wants digital sovereignty, but this is still an American company building on European ground.
Fair point. And regulators will be watching closely. But the reality is, Europe needs this capacity now, and homegrown alternatives aren't scaling fast enough. So, for the moment, this is a pragmatic win.
Pragmatic wins, the European specialty. All right, next up, AI is doing something remarkable in battery science.
This one genuinely excited me. Companies like Sandbox AQ are using AI platforms, their latest is called AQ Volt 26, to accelerate the discovery of new battery chemistries. We're talking about cutting the research phase by 90 to 95%. That's not incremental improvement, that's a revolution.
So what used to take years of trial and error in a lab
now gets compressed dramatically. The approach is called inverse design. Instead of testing thousands of materials hoping one works, scientists tell the AI what performance characteristics they want. Energy density, safety profile, charge speed, and the generative model predicts which chemical structures could deliver that.
And this matters for solid-state batteries in particular, which everyone sees as the next leap for electric vehicles.
Solid state is the holy grail. Safer, more energy dense, potentially cheaper at scale. But the chemistry has been brutally hard to crack. AI changes the economics and the timeline of that research completely.
For Europe specifically, this is huge. The automotive sector is the backbone of the European industrial economy, and the EV transition is existential for companies like Volkswagen, Stellantis, BMW.
If European manufacturers or their research partners can use AI to leapfrog current battery limitations, it reduces dependence on Chinese battery supply chains and critical raw materials. The EU has been pushing hard for strategic autonomy in this area. AI-accelerated battery discovery could be exactly the edge Europe needs.
Quick interruption. If you listen to The State of Tech regularly, hit that like button and subscribe. That way you'll never miss an episode. Okay, moving on. All right, this one is a pure European story with global implications. The EU Digital Identity Wallet, the EUDI wallet, is moving fast toward mandatory implementation across all member states.
And ENISA, the EU's cybersecurity agency, is right in the middle of it. They've launched public consultations to validate the cybersecurity certification scheme for these wallets. This is the nuts and bolts work that determines whether this thing is actually secure enough for mass adoption.
Remind everyone what this wallet actually does.
It's essentially a digital version of your identity. Think passport, driving license, university diploma, professional qualifications, all stored securely on your phone. The idea is that any EU citizen or resident can use it to verify who they are across borders for both public and private services. Signing a lease in another country, opening a bank account, proving your medical credentials, all from your phone.
The previous version of this, EIDAS 1.0, didn't exactly set the world on fire.
It didn't. Adoption was patchy, interoperability was weak, and most people had never heard of it. The 2.0 regulation is much more ambitious. It's mandatory for member states to offer the wallet, and large platforms will have to accept it. That's a completely different level of commitment.
The privacy angle is interesting. In a world where everyone's worried about big tech hoarding personal data, this gives individuals more control.
That's the design philosophy. You share only the specific attributes needed, your age, your nationality, your qualification, without handing over your entire identity. If it works as intended, it's a meaningful step forward for data protection, and it could become a global template. Other regions are watching very closely.
Also today, a serious breakthrough in post-quantum cryptography.
So here's the problem. Quantum computers, when they're powerful enough, will break the encryption we currently rely on for banking, healthcare records, government communications, basically everything. The race has been on to develop post-quantum cryptography, or PQC, that can withstand quantum attacks. But the hard part isn't just inventing the new math. It's migrating existing systems without breaking things.
And that's what this proof of concept achieved.
Tapan Holdings, NICT, and Isara Corporation demonstrated a seamless migration within existing certificate authority frameworks. They simulated a transitional ecosystem where both current and post-quantum cryptography operated side by side. For smart card-based ID verification and internet access, no service disruption.
That coexistence piece is really the key, isn't it? You can't just flip a switch overnight.
You cannot. Banks can't go offline. Hospitals can't lose access to patient records. This phased approach, running old and new simultaneously, is exactly what real-world deployment requires.
For Europe, this connects directly to the regulatory push around cybersecurity. The EU has been one of the most proactive regulators in this space.
And European institutions handle enormous volumes of sensitive data. Having a proven migration path to quantum-resistant encryption is essential for maintaining trust and compliance. This proof of concept gives regulators and CISOs something concrete to plan around.
Let's talk about open-source AI. Google just dropped Gemma 4.
Gemma 4 is purpose-built for reasoning and agentic workflows, meaning AI that doesn't just answer questions, but actually takes actions, plans multi-step tasks, writes and executes code. And it's open weight, so developers can download it, modify it, run it on their own infrastructure.
And Google isn't alone here. The open source space is getting crowded.
Very crowded. You've got MIMO V2 Flash, Kimi K2.5, and, importantly for European listeners, Mistral Large 2 from the French company Mistral AI. These models are competitive with proprietary offerings on major benchmarks. Coding, reasoning, multi-turn conversation, open source is closing the gap fast.
This is a big deal for European companies, especially smaller ones that can't afford enterprise licensing from OpenAI or Anthropic.
It democratizes access. A European startup can now run a top-tier model locally, keep their data on their own servers, which makes GDPR compliance far simpler, and customize the model for their specific use case. No vendor lock-in, no data leaving European jurisdiction. And with Mistral building from Paris, there's a genuine European champion in the mix.
And finally, generative AI is reshaping how cars get designed and built.
CES 2026 made this crystal clear. Automakers are using generative AI to propose and test hundreds of design candidates in the time it used to take to evaluate a handful. NVIDIA showcased Alpha Mayo, a 10 billion parameter model built specifically to help vehicles reason through complex driving scenarios. They're calling it physical AI, models that understand and interact with the real world.
So it's not just about styling a car's exterior. It's structural, mechanical, navigational.
Everything. Material selection, aerodynamic optimization, crash safety simulation, autonomous driving logic. Generative AI compresses design cycles, reduces prototyping costs, and opens up material combinations that human engineers might never have considered.
Europe's auto industry is massive. It employs millions of people. This is both an opportunity and a threat.
The opportunity is clear. European manufacturers known for engineering excellence can use these tools to accelerate EV development and stay ahead on quality. The threat is that competitors in China and the US adopt faster. Europe needs to invest aggressively in AI talent and infrastructure to keep its edge. The technology is there. The question is speed of adoption.
All right, that wraps us up for today. We covered Amazon's massive European data center bet, AI turbocharging battery research, the EU digital identity wallet nearing launch, quantum-proof encryption breakthroughs, Google's Gemma 4 and the open-source AI wave, and generative AI transforming automotive design.
Want to know more or react? Visit stateoftech.eu or email us at info@doorzetters.net. State of Tech, the tech world in 15 minutes.